I do client services here at Ampere EV. My name is Martine. I'm here today to show you what goes into our considerations with battery modules. With battery modules and battery cells, it is by far the most expensive part of an EV car build or repower. There's a lot of things you have to consider here, specifically what materials you use, if you're using new cells, what BMS you're using. Used cells are never an option for us. We only use brand new cells that are rated for 2,000 duty cycles. And so with that, you make sure that you're always getting good cells. They're not salvaged out of something else. They are specifically spec'd for our application and our vehicles. Our engineers know all of the specs on these cells, and they're able to engineer the system to live within those specs and get the longevity out of the batteries that you want for the price that you're gonna pay for them. So this is a brick made up of individual cells that are then welded together. We get these directly from the manufacturer. We get them with all of the information we need to integrate them into the atom drive system. So let's take a look at our battery module and what makes up a full battery module. For demonstration purposes, we have one of our thermal cooling plates. These are hydrodynamically engineered to keep each of the cells the exact same temperature. These are on the bottom of the battery module. I'll just move this to the side. So here we have a battery module with a plexiglass plate on top. You're gonna get 3 of these with our 42 kilowatt system, or you're gonna get 6 with our 84 kilowatt system. Our enclosures are made of aluminum. They're corrosion resistant and offer strength and lightweight durability. Thermal cooling plate that we showed you before, we use premium thermal adhesives to mount those to the plate. We wanna make sure the heat transfers from the battery cells down to the plate. Also around the outside, fire retardant potting foam. It helps prevent thermal runaway, propagation events, and reduces shock and vibration to the battery cells. Inside of the battery boxes, we use UL 94 VO rated materials. Our plastics are not rated to burn. We also use premium nickel plated copper bus bars. They offer several advantages, including enhanced corrosion resistance, increased surface hardness, improved wear resistance, and the ability to withstand higher temperatures compared to ordinary copper bus bars. Right here we have examples of our proprietary BMS system. We use BMS inside of the box. Each box has a host board and 2 satellite boards. And we can show you over here where both the copper bus bars are mounted and also our BMS boards are mounted inside of our boxes. We have a contactor inside of the box which keeps the box dead unless the system has received 12 volts and all the communications have checked out. That allows us to have our touch safe technology, which means you can touch these without linemen's high voltage safety gloves. Your staff, your workers are able to move these boxes around without the danger of high voltage coming out of them, without all of the safety checks, and your customers are able to live with them without worry of arcing or having high voltage come out of them. We monitor coolant temperature on the inlet and outlet of each battery module. We have our inlets here, our outlets here. That allows us to make sure that the temperatures of the cells on the inside, while being monitored, we actually show that we're taking heat off of those, or in the case that you live in cold weather, putting heat into them. Each box features high voltage interlock, which we go over way more in depth with our software engineer in a safety video. But each box has HVIL, which means, again, these do not turn on if all of the high voltage accessories are not plugged in and the loop is not complete. The VCU does that on checkup and will not power up the system and close the contactors if the HVIL is not reporting as complete and intact. Each module has high density cell temperature monitoring of each cell and also coolant temperature monitoring. That allows the VCU to control the pumps, the fans on the radiators, and if you have subambient cooling, to cool with subambient cooling. If you're in cold weather, the heater will kick on and get temperature into the cells. In the unlikely event that you have a high temperature cell event, we're able to derate through the VCU and make sure that the system stays safe and that we save the battery cells and nothing is ruined and there's no thermal runaway. As you're building with the battery modules, you of course want to keep best practices in consideration, like keeping them safe within the frame rails of the vehicle for crash protection. You don't want to mount them too low. Certainly submersion is the enemy of battery modules. So you don't want these to be able to be submerged. You don't want them hitting rocks if you're going off-road or bouncing off of speed bumps. So you want to keep them up. You want to keep them within the frame rails, and you want to make sure that they're protected from anything that could run into them. We do have installation guidelines and best practices available to you in our documentation. All of these considerations go into our battery modules for a reason. We use all new components, we engineer safety into them, and we do that for a reason. You can of course make your own battery modules, but you can be exposing yourself to high voltage. If you're using salvage cells from a wrecked vehicle, you can find a cell that is not as good as you thought it was before you put it in, and it can cause major issues to the most expensive component on the vehicle. We take care of this for you with all the engineering, all premium materials, all new cells, so you can get your battery modules, put them in a vehicle, and they will last 10 years or more with your customers. If you have any questions or comments about our battery modules, our battery cells, please put them down in the comments section. Check us out at ampereev.com. Of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram. You can check us out there for cool partner builds. Thanks again for watching and joining us.